Hello fellow leggers, thank you once again for joining us. We are just down Covent Garden in London's Seven Dials because we are visiting the Donmar warehouse.
We are indeed, and that's to see a UK premiere, Appropriate by Branden Jacobs-Jenkins. Still in previews, but do stick around to find out all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars.
And whether it's break a leg
or leg it.
So Branden Jacobs-Jenkins, now he's the playwright responsible for Gloria.
Which we liked.
We really liked it. And actually, it's one of those pieces which has stuck with me. Like, I still think about it now, about that production,
it's
that great
very
cast.
dramatic end of the first act.
It took my breath away, actually.
Everybody by surprise.
It really did, but we loved that. He also was responsible for an Octa Room, which got tons of critical acclaim, both off West End and when it transferred to the National, but we didn't see it.
We didn't see it.
But I'm sure
the
you
poster
did.
was amazing.
The poster was absolutely... What's that on my face? The poster was absolutely amazing. Now, Appropriate is the story of the Lafayette family as they gather at their late father's home in Arkansas, USA, to bury the hatchet and prepare the former plantation for its estate sale. That is, until they discover something that changes everything. It's got a twist. American family drama.
Okay,
that's what I would put this on. Now, the director, Ola Ince, makes her Donmar Warehouse debut, having previously worked as assistant director on the Donmar's all-female Shakespeare trilogy, which played at the King's Cross Theatre and then transferred to New York and played St Anne's Warehouse. Wow. And a great cast has been assembled for this, including current Olivier Award holder for Best Supporting Actress in a Play, Monica Dolan.
Yeah.
She won her Olivier for All About Eve.
She did, yeah.
Called it right there, guys. I said she's going to get the
Simon.
Olivier. She was the best thing about that production for me. I
did.
loved her. And friend of the channel, an Olivier nominee herself for her work on The Nether, Isabella Pappas. Yes, and she is making sort of her adult West End debut in this piece. We last saw her in Bring It On.
We did.
At the Southwark
Playhouse.
She was brilliant. She's brilliant. She's such a talent,
She's
such an
very
up-and-coming star. So
watch this space.
Looking forward to getting in there now. 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow.
Quite a long one, but you get a 20-minute interval included in that time. So stick around for our 30-second interval breakdown.
And as usual, leggers, stick around to the end to hear our thoughts and find out how many stars. It's the interval, which means it is time for the Breaker Leggers
30-second interval breakdown. What do you think so far?
I'm really enjoying it. I think the performances are so realistic. The drama, the setting of it is such a good area to explore this idea of the death and almost like these people who have had fractured lives now come back together to discuss their past. How about you?
I mean, take up all my time, but I think it's absolutely extraordinary. I think some of the performances are up there with some of the best I've ever seen. The writing feels authentic and so well observed. I can't wait to get back in there. Flew by first act, can't wait.
Come to the end of Appropriate here at the Donmar, very early in previews.
Yes, and so we have to prefix it with that. Because sometimes, fellow leggers, you'll appreciate this. You've just got to get in when you can fit something in. And what drew me to this was the fact that we had such a great time with Gloria, and that playwright was someone that we knew wrote well or felt wrote well from that experience.
Lights have gone off, they're closing up.
Has he let us down with Appropriate? That's what we're asking.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant writing.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant writing. Was it 2 hours 45 including the interval? And yet for me it flew by.
Yeah.
A few kind of points where I thought, oh, it's going to end now. Oh no, we're going on a bit. Oh no, now's the ending. Oh no, it's going on a bit. Now's the ending. By thinking back, I actually enjoyed those bits that were added in. I thought, okay, you're revealing something else. We're saying a different story. In terms of the drama of the piece, I really was on board and loved it. How about you?
Yeah, I got to say, I think that Branden Jacobs-Jenkins is one of the top American playwrights right now. Him and Annie Baker, who have worked together actually.
Annie Baker, who did The Flick, and also John over here.
Are up there at the top of the game with regards to modern, edgy, relatable family drama and family situations. And that's what this is ultimately. It's a dysfunctional family story. It's harping back to Ibsen, but also it's so now. It's
Yes,
so
it's the
now.
depth of the characters, the backstory, and but how that plays in their current interrelationships and their current interactions is just brilliant.
Yeah.
The drama builds. You care for the characters.
Yes,
and
they're all so well
broad.
defined and
Yeah.
individual. They're written as complete entities, and you're not just given an insight into that person. You're given, by the time you finished a scene with somebody, you understand them. You understand their motives, their interests, their likes. Clever writing. I feel that we're going to lose him from the stage onto screenplays. I could
Because
see
it's that good.
It's that level of sort of engagement and understanding of characters. Like I could see him writing a series of something.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, I guess a few spoilers in here in terms of, I guess, the story, talking about what the story is about.
I don't want to give too much
I don't
away.
know. I'm not going to give any major bits away, but I
good.
guess what it is,
Careful.
it's a
Might have to
family,
censor you.
family coming to terms with potentially the idea that their dad may have been racist.
No, well, they're giving too much away there.
No, it's not.
I
That's
think they're
just got- that's
coming
come
to,
up very
they're
quick.
coming to terms with that, and something that we've all done is when someone has passed and they're not there to ask questions of anymore. It's coming to terms with actually, were they the person you thought?
You looking
they,
bigger.
Yeah, were they the person you thought they were? You know, it's almost like that dissatisfaction of meeting someone that's played a character on a TV show you like, and then you meet the actor and they're not that person.
But then you justify in your head, but that can't be the case. I
Yeah,
guess it's
I
about
must
those
be
biases
wrong.
and schemas you put
Is it
into your
me
thinking.
that's wrong?
You start to justify, even though the evidence is very clear.
Yeah.
I guess that's what the whole piece is about.
And how much, and it's about sort of forgiveness and weighing up. It's like, how talented do you have to be? You know, when people create great pieces of art and then you find out something about their personality that isn't so great, yet you forgive it because of the good they've done and the compromise you have to make as a result.
Okay.
I think this is a piece ultimately about those compromises and wanting to not, and it's about blame and responsibility and trying to pin it on other people, and it's just so many layers, it's so deep.
But I don't want to take it, it's not just about that, because it's very much about race. It's very much a race piece, I think.
Well, it's
in
written by a black
undertones.
writer.
Exactly, and directed as well by the same. And I think it's very much not a race piece, but it is a race piece. It's very clever.
But I think you could apply that situation of having a prejudice or a bigoted attitude towards any group of people, irrespective of
Absolutely.
race. It could be about sexuality, it could be about gender.
It could be, but it's not
But
this.
it's not. This is about
it's
race.
not what this
You're
is.
absolutely right. But it feels vital and current and important.
It's in those questions
Yeah.
that it asks, and what he asks of each other, and of the legacy of the past. But it was okay then. Back in their day, it was okay.
Generationally, you could
So
call
can we
people by names you
justify
can't
it?
call them now. So that doesn't make it okay.
Does
but
it make it? And
is
that's
it acceptable?
some big questions
Yeah.
there. And
but just so much going on in the writing here, guys, and don't want to give too much away. But
I think that's as much as we can say.
Yeah, so let's move on to the actual production now. So, in terms of production...
I'm so sorry, before we go there, it's
okay.
also got elements in the production and in the story, as well, of this kind of supernatural idea,
Yes.
quite thrillery.
It reminded
Woman
me
in
heavily of
blackish.
John in that respect. In those sort of, there is a
Spooky
there's a
moments.
spooky
Unease.
underlying unease about, you know, you
It's a bit
bring up.
tense.
Shall I tell a protracted story?
Oh, how long we got, Leggers?
So, I thought for a while, when I was a teenager, somebody died under mysterious circumstances that I sort of knew.
Okay.
And I thought whenever I would talk about that story and make accusations against the person that might have been responsible for that death, that spooky things would happen. So like the window would rattle and I would see it as a sign. Or the lights would flicker and I would go, it's because I'm talking about it and it's true and I should say something that someone might be responsible for it. But that was sort of in like this, it was making the supernatural connections with the situation. Your mind plays tricks on you because
Yes.
you're in that zone. And
But-
that's happened to me.
And so that's.
I mean,
that's
I
a
don't
nice
believe
story.
in supernatural stuff.
But I guess that's what this touches on as well, and the production amplifies
Can
that.
you believe your own memories?
Can you trust
Can
your
you
own
trust
what
your
you
own
are seeing? Can you
mind?
trust what you're seeing?
Yeah.
Can we trust what's going on? And what happens in a room when we're not in it?
Do you like Toy
What
Story? Do you
happens
think all the
somewhere?
little
And
soldiers
that-
come alive?
It kind
and
of
stuff?
asks that question. You know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, does it make sound? It's kind of that kind of thing. What happens when we're not around? To
And
observe
these
it?
production elements are brought to
It's
life by the
spooky.
director.
Yes.
The director here so cleverly has just thought, Ola Ince is the director,
Yep.
has the production here for a tiny little venue like the Donmar as well is massive. It feels like a big production. It is,
is,
they've
yeah.
thrown everything at it. The set is so detailed.
Really loved the set.
Yeah.
So direction was great.
Yeah, direction
in terms
was
of really
great.
natural
And bringing out those
appropriate
individual
levels,
characters.
time and
None of the
space.
performances ever felt overblown, even
Really
though there
good
are big
performances.
American characters in it, and you
Yeah.
think they're brash, but they're never overblown. But
So
let's
direction
talk
great.
about
Set was
set.
also really good.
Yes, set is Fly Davis, who we've seen lots of Fly Davis. Caroline or Change was Fly Davis. Beginning is Fly Davis.
Really like the sound design as well.
Yes,
Sound and lighting worked really well.
Donato Wharton is the sound designer. UK-based sound designer who's got international credits as well.
Lighting.
Lighting. Anna Watson on lighting.
I thought was really good as well.
Did Shopping and Fucking at the Lyric Hammersmith, which we saw. We
Okay.
haven't got a review, it was before we were the Leggers. Rebecca Cuthbertson for Dialect and Voice Coach. I mean, you're asking a lot when you're asking these very British actors and actresses.
To come from a very
to
specific
come from
place.
a very specific place in America.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've been lucky enough to visit Arkansas, and I was convinced.
Okay.
For a little I know.
So really
Spent a
nice
week
in
there
terms of
once.
production. It suited the piece really well.
Yeah.
It's gone to cast.
Let's go on to cast, and I think we should start at the top and say that Monica Dolan's performance as Tony was worthy of a Breaker Leggers 2019 nomination for Best Actress in a Play.
Absolutely, there you go.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
It's
fantastic.
that good. She's current Olivier holder, and boy, I think if this is eligible, she's going to keep hold of that award next year. She's going to get a second, guys. I'm going to call it now. She's going to at least get a nomination. She plays this brash, bulgy American, bitter, jaded, defensive,
Not happy with herself.
and so cleverly, and the expression in her face at every single moment. She never switches off, even when she's not focus of scene. I couldn't take my eyes off her.
She was great.
I was just watching
Yeah.
her because she was
has a really
giving
good
such
journey
a
arc
rich
as well.
performance. Let's talk about Jamie Barbakoff in the role of Rachel, the wife of the sort of leading son, Beau.
Okay, I thought she was great. I thought the whole cast was great, but we're
Well,
talking
we're not
about
going to
her.
talk about her. All right, so we'll just say, do you know what,
She was
guys? They
great.
were all good. Let's go.
This cast is absolutely brilliant. There isn't a weak link.
Yeah,
But you brought
what
her
about
up, so
her
why do you want to talk about her?
particularly? I just want to talk about how believable she was as a mother.
Okay.
Someone that's sort of got the ambition to try and protect her children, but eventually realises she can't do it and
Can't shield them.
and has to come to terms with the fact she can't shield her kids. She doesn't want to acknowledge that her kids are going to be growing up into adults. She wants to keep them young, and and she doesn't like the impressionability of them. And I just thought she played that really convincingly.
Fantastic. I also really liked Isabella Papas
Yes.
as the 13-year-old daughter who is wise beyond what she should be.
Yeah.
Scary, really, thinking
is.
about that. It comes to little
When you've
leggers
got
as
children
well.
that are approaching that age, and
Yeah.
the amount they change between being, say, 11 and 13.
I thought she was brilliant
Terrifying.
in that role.
But
she
she's
played
playing,
it perfectly.
she's playing much younger than she is, but yeah, scarily convincing.
Who else stood out for
Stephen
you?
McIntosh as Beau. I liked him a lot more in the second act, actually.
Okay.
Wasn't such a fan in the first. Thought that he wasn't giving me enough, but in the second act came into his own.
I liked it all. I thought it was great.
Just liked it. Anything particular about his performance?
From start to finish.
Stealing the show almost was Edward Hogg as Francois or Franz.
Stealing
or
the show
Frank.
for you?
Yeah, Breaker Leggers nomination for Best Actor 2019
Okay.
in a play would be Edward
What was it
Hogg.
about him?
What was it? What wasn't it about him? You should have been saying.
Okay.
Plays this maniacal person, and it's written. That character is written with so many layers, and the life that he's now having to lead as a character is one of a sort of deceit and betrayal, and coming to terms with himself and forgiveness, and the way that he played the vulnerability of someone that's living a lie or is having to force to change. And oh my God, was he compelling or what?
I thought the writing of that character was very good. It asks some very interesting questions about redemption and change, exactly what you're saying, especially in a topic that is very taboo,
yeah.
and we don't talk about, and I thought it was really
Absolutely.
bold.
Yeah.
And writers do go there. We've seen that in a couple of things recently, in the past couple of years, on that specific issue. I don't want to go into it because
Yeah,
I
you
don't want
can't
to spoil
give
it.
anything away. It's hard.
But I think the writer has done really well
And I just
to
think
cover that,
that
to
actor
ask those questions.
took me on a journey, because when we first introduced to him, he's a very different place than he was at the end of the show, and there's
Yeah.
a massive arc, as you mentioned earlier. A lot of characters have big arcs in this, but I was it was believable. The believability of it all was exactly what an actor should be, which was encapsulating. Also, Kathleen Steen as River, the sort of hippie-ish.
Yeah.
She's got a good. Her motives are right, but the way that she goes about it is questionable to people that don't believe in. You know, you're always banging on about CBT and things to me, and I think it's a bit airy-fairy.
Yeah.
And I think these are the, you know, meditation and mindfulness is a little bit sort of...
Did you feel a bit of resonance
I
there?
feel, I
Like...
really associate it with... Well, no, you should have done, because she was all on that side of...
She was a bit too spiritual for me.
She was very spiritual, which I think is a load of crap. But... I've met people that...
But if it's your thing, it's your thing.
Guys, do you know the Tim Minchin song Storm? Where there's a woman at a party and she believes in homeopathy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's trying
Okay.
not to confront her about her crazy ideas.
But she's not
the
that
way
bad.
that she... Well, she's fairly bad. But the
Okay.
way she played against the Tony character
Yeah.
was incredible, because they are polar opposites to one another. And the way they bounce off each other as actresses when they're confronting each other about, do you really believe this crap? And they couldn't understand one another. I loved it. I loved that dynamic.
Yes, okay, very good. Well, we should probably wrap up.
Absolutely, appropriate.
We've said the cast is great. The complete cast is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Stellar cast.
Yeah.
But probably wondering how many stars. Before we do, make sure you subscribe,
Yes.
hit the like button.
Let us know down below what you think of this piece. But for appropriate at the Donmar Warehouse, we are going to give
5 stars for this piece. Absolutely loved it.
If there's
Enjoyed it.
Guys, this is not a drill. Get yourself a ticket as soon as possible. Kill to get a ticket for this piece. It speaks about humanity on so many levels. It deals with such taboo subjects. It's thrilling, it's shocking, it's surprising, and it's so brilliantly performed. I think it's probably the best thing I've seen this year so far.
I think the same. In terms of a piece of dramatic text, I was engrossed in all of it. Some really good topical themes that the writer is commenting on, performed by a highly accomplished cast. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but
That's all I've got to
That's just
say.
what you think, right?
Totally just what I
It's
think.
just what I think too. What's more important is that you come along and see this, form your own opinion, and let us know down below what your thoughts are. We're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye.